the early 90s, Northeast heavy industry gradually began to decline, and countless workers were laid off. And Qian Gilin was one of them. In order to make a living, he formed a band. He performed at weddings and funerals every day. One day, he received a funeral performance while they were playing hard, but was stopped by his filial son. "What's wrong, bro? Stop playing." The funeral usually plays this theme. It's to express pain and sadness. No, if the old man hears this song, how heavy his steps would be. Okay, what's an old man? Speed up. Why are you walking so fast? You don't need to know. Qian Gilin thought for a moment. He had an idea. 1, 2, 3, go. At the request of the filial son, the originally sad funeral suddenly became very cheerful. Although this kind of work is considered disgraceful by others. But Qian didn't care about it. "You were afraid of shame, but you can still make money. Look at me, I play and sing on the street with a small band. You're afraid of jokes. You can't make money now. But when the roof leaks, it pours." His wife wanted to live a life without working. She offered to divorce him and said she didn't want any property, but she asked to take the daughter away. But Qian refused. After the old father learned about this, came from the countryside to comfort him. But Qian took it lightly. She wants a divorce. I agreed. She is with a drug dealer. And he is happy. He finally lived the dream of life without working. Although Qian lived a life of 3 days of hunger and 9 meals, he was never stingy with his daughter, who loved playing piano. He was never stingy. He even took out the little money he had left to sign up for a piano class. In order to let his daughter practice the piano more, Qian often gives the teacher some small gifts. "Here are some skincare products for you. Take it to your wife." No, she's too busy taking care of her skin now. Unlike you, who are young and beautiful, her daughter's dream is to own a piano of her own. But the recently laid off Qian couldn't afford it. So she found her former co-worker WANG Qianyuan for help. It happens that WANG is now working as a school gatekeeper. Whenever it's quiet at night, Qian took his daughter to the school to practice secretly. But the faint piano sound sounded particularly loud in the silent night, which scared the female teacher, who went to the toilet and once thought the school was haunted. So the school leaders came to check with several teachers, but they caught Qian and his daughter in the act. "I'm really sorry, teachers. We delayed you from going to the bathroom. Someone reported that our school was haunted. But we didn't believe it at first. There is indeed a ghost, an insider." In the end, Wang lost his job because of this. And his daughter lost the chance to practice the piano. In desperation, Qian drew the keys on a blank sheet of paper and a piece of wood and made a piano that couldn't make a sound so that his daughter could practice in vain. "Dad, can I play it?" "Of course it can. It will be playable after it dries. Didn't you hear the sound just now? Didn't Dad tell you about Beethoven?" Uncle Beethoven was deaf, and he couldn't hear. That day, his ex-wife found Qian. She first insulted Shekshin, Qian's current girlfriend, and then talked about the custody of their daughter, and said she could give her daughter a better environment. What's a good environment? What's a good environment to sell fake drugs with stepdad? What's wrong with selling fake drugs? It's better than singing on the street with her stepmother. Don't talk nonsense. I can't let Xiaoyuan be with you. Although both of them argued their cases, but the final choice is still up to the daughter. Xiaoyuan said he'll be with whoever buys him a piano. She's really his daughter. But the price of the piano is a huge sum of money for Lao Chen. In order to let his daughter follow him, Lao Chen decided to borrow money. He founded Daliu, who runs a slaughterhouse, but Daliu was a wife-controlled man. Then he took the pork. He went to the second sister and her husband, who ran a barbershop, but during the conversation, the second sister and her husband were not doing well. Seeing this, Lao Chen couldn't bring it up. He wanted to give the pork to the second sister, but it was stolen by someone else. Why do they steal everything? After that, Lao Chen went to find Peng Tu again, but found that he was being chased by several women. Only then did he know that Peng Tu lost money in mahjong and refused to pay. After hearing this, quickly took out 20 yuan to help him out. After they left, Lao Chen quickly brought up the matter of borrowing money, but Peng Tu had already known about it. "How did you know I was going to lend you money?" "I know it. WANG Qianyuan has gone to the countryside to take refuge." "You know that? I just received a letter. I haven't had time to hide." "You came." In the end, after all the trouble, he didn't receive a penny, and also spent dozens of yuan. After his girlfriend Shekshin learned about this, she quickly took out all her savings for him. But this money was just a drop in the bucket. It's just a drop in the bucket. At night, Lao Chen invited everyone to drink in the name of gathering. In order to keep Xiaoyuan, under the influence of alcohol, decided to steal it. Look at the head. As if they were going to browse a painting. They climbed over the high school wall, but they were discovered by the security guard. Seeing this, they quickly ran away, but while climbing over the wall, after several attempts, Lao Chen couldn't climb over. Finally, he simply walked towards the piano. Despite the heavy snow, Lao Chen played the piano. At this moment, he was no longer the embarrassed off worker, but an elegant musician. Finally, they were arrested by the police station. Fortunately, the school didn't pursue responsibility, but just asked them to move the piano back to its place. Looking at this heavy piano, the workers around him studied its structure. It's cast iron, not steel plate, and the steel wire. What kind of steel wire? What steel wire? This sentence completely woke up Lao Chen. A bold idea was born at this moment. That is to make a piano. So he spent all day in the library to check various books on piano structure. but he found that they were all in Russian, which made it difficult for him to start. Fortunately, at this time, Shakshan thought of someone who had studied in the Soviet Union in the factory, so Chen went to the river to catch some fish as a gift for Wang Gong. After Wang knew his purpose, he agreed to help, and Lao Wang came uninvited after learning about it. If you want to learn the piano, you can ask me. You still ask me for stealing piano, if I don't come for such a passionate thing. How could that be? Then he founded ZHANG. ZHANG is the best off among them. After being laid off, he contracted a scrap steel factory. He dug 3 feet deep and dug 3 feet to profit from the scrap iron buried. Knowing that Chen wanted to make a piano, ZHANG not only offered to provide the venue, but also asked to work together. Lao Chen found Dalyu again and asked him to find his brother-in-law, who was a carpenter. The second brother-in-law is a cultivated person. You should speak politely to him. What are tasteful words? Don't deceive him. The next noon, he found Peng Tu again. Peng Tu said that his co-workers had returned. Time flies so fast. I remember when he left, his intestines weren't yellow yet. This guy, he's good in every way except his temper. And he's too ruthless, you know? When he fights, he would throw 5 or 6 beer bottles at his head. And that's not all, and was still looking for beer bottles on the floor. Do you think so? He hit me. Xiao used to work in the factory. He was a foreman, but was sentenced to 3 years for dishonesty. After he was released, he opened a key-making shop with Lao Chen's eloquence. He offered Xu 25 yuan to help. 25 yuan is 25 yuan. Why not? Right, but there's a condition. You have to promise me. You say, you can't tell anyone about this. After everyone was ready, Lao Chen invited everyone to sing together. After the factory closed, they all found their own jobs. Now they have reunited to make pianos. In addition to emotion, more excitement. With the sound of firecrackers, the piano-making project officially started. Wang Gong first distributed the drawings to everyone, and then explained the structure and ideas. But as soon as they started, they encountered a problem, because making a piano requires a lot of wood. Lao Chen and Dalyu spent a long time to pick up a pile of doors and windows, but the second brother-in-law said no directly. They were all useless. Why didn't you say it earlier? I see you two are in high spirits. I'm embarrassed. During the meal, Lao Chen decided, since the wood structure processing materials cannot be reached, why not just make a steel piano? Wang, what do you think? I still say that. Without the spirit of daring to think, do, and fight, that's not what our workers should do. That's right, what is a piano? It's just a machine that can make sounds. With a clear goal. They went back to the jobs they were good at. At this moment, they seemed to have returned to the happy times before. One day, Peng Tu received a phone call, and then rushed out with an iron rod. It turned out that Peng Tu's daughter was pregnant with the gangster's child. Lao Chen was furious when he learned about it. He took his co-workers to settle the score with the thugs. After a chase, they successfully cornered the hooligans. But they are no longer young and frivolous age. They had to consider the consequences of their actions. Although Peng Tu was furious, but his daughter was still pregnant with the other's child. Get out. But the word helplessness was vividly reflected in Fathead's father. Fortunately, soon after, the gangster still married Peng Tu's daughter. On the wedding day, Lao Chen and Shakshan personally presided over the wedding. The wind and rain bring spring back, and snow fell heavily. She got married in the cold winter. Love can melt the snow. Soon, Chen received bad news, because his ex-wife filed a lawsuit in court. But now the piano has just been made into an outline. Shakshan thinks the child can live a good life with his mother. It's not a bad thing. And if the piano could be made, Xiao Yuan may not choose to follow Lao Chen. You are afraid that Xiao Yuan will stay with me, and we can live together in the future, and it will be a burden for you, right? You are all too realistic. I'm so realistic. You stole the piano. I'll keep watch for you. You go to buy the piano, and I'll pay for it. You got a bunch of people to make a piano for you. I don't sing my good songs. I wasted my time with you in that crappy place. I have to cook for you. I'm so realistic. After this incident, Chen and Shakshan's relationship gradually became estranged. This gave Wang, who cooked with Shakshan every day, had an opportunity. He often flattered Shakshan whenever he could. 2 large chimneys in the factory were about to be demolished. In the eyes of this generation, not only memories of growth, but also the coordinates of their return home, Wang Gong tried to save the 2 chimneys. He organized his former co-workers, trying to save their beautiful memories. We always try to do something. If we succeed, it will become a beautiful scenery. If it fails, it will be a beautiful memories at night. Lao Chen went to Shakshan to discuss this matter, but Shakshan blocked the door and wouldn't let him in. This made Lao Chen instantly feel he felt like he had a green grassland on his head. Who do you think you are? You come and go as you please. When have you ever considered my feelings? Next door's Wang. Shakshan obviously felt guilty after hearing that. Without saying a word, she closed the door, leaving Lao Chen alone and lost walking on the street. Early in the morning, Shakshan took Lao Wang's car to make a piano. But Chen suddenly appeared on the way and pressed the thief Wang on the ground and rubbed him. But Shakshan's slap brought him back to reality. All men are not good things. But fate doesn't seem to let Chen go. That day, the police suddenly came to the door because they received a report from Brother G's arrogance. So they asked him to cooperate with the investigation. Before leaving, G checked the piano Multi made. The gun is fine. Watching G's gradually receding figures, everyone felt mixed emotions. This also became the last straw that broke the camel's back. He stopped making steel bars. Forget it. Then he found his ex-wife and voluntarily gave up custody of his daughter because he knew clearly now he couldn't give his daughter a better life and the 2 large chimneys in the factory eventually met their fate of being demolished. Lao Chen distributed cigarettes to everyone. With the deafening sound of the explosion, the 2 large chimneys were also flattened. The workers watched their old friends leave. It also means they were abandoned by this era. After returning to the factory, Lao Chen played the accordion alone. But at this moment, Shuxian came back. He sat beside Lao Chen without saying a word. Perhaps only he understood Lao Chen's inner feelings. I can marry you now. Shuxian didn't say anything. She just put her head silently on his shoulder, indicating her agreement. The demolition of the chimney made the workers lose confidence. Lao Chen was unconvinced. He gathered everyone to build a piano again, but this time, it wasn't for his daughter, but for the dignity of their generation of workers. He wants to prove to the times that workers can still create everything with their own hands. After everyone's efforts day and night, the steel piano was also built. At this time, his ex-wife came to say goodbye with her daughter. Before they leave, Lao Chen asked his daughter to play a song for him. What do you want to hear? Something simple and nice. The melodious tune filled the entire factory. Everyone stood aside and listened quietly, and recalled the bits and pieces of the past. Perhaps at this moment, their era officially came to an end. Years later, Guang Hong's words at the Spring Festival Gala revealed the helplessness of this generation. Graduated at 18. I went to a bicycle factory. I joined the Communist Youth League first. I've been on the honor roll 3 times. The factory manager valued me. I was about to be promoted to deputy team leader. The leader kept talking to me, saying that the unit was going to lay off workers. At that time, I made a statement. Workers should think about the country. If I don't, who will?